Okay, how's it, guys? It's Carl here. I thought I'd do, a number of you are going to be writing this SUP next week. Help you along and get you up to pace so that you understand what's going to happen in the SUP and that you are prepared for the SUP and that you know what you're supposed to do, how to prepare and how to write the SUP. Stem from the fact that you're not sure how to write an open book exam. So let's have a look at it. And this is not going to be very long, but I think this will be very helpful. So firstly, the SUP rules. So when you get a SUP, so if you look at your results, there'll be the word SUP will appear on your results. That means you'll get a SUP. If you can look at the exam dates, there'll be a specific date. The SUP for this entrepreneurship subject is Monday or Tuesday, I think, next week. But you'll have to go look, check it out. I'm not going to commit to when and the date and the time and all of that. Fall away. So everything falls away and it's a hit or miss. So you must get 50% in that SUP to pass, and you'll pass the subject. You will also only get 50%. So even if you get 70 in a SUP, it'll always say 50 on your statement of results. So where in other exams you could have got less than 50 but still pass because of a year mark, there is no year mark, all of that's gone. You simply have to get 50% in the SUP. So you need to understand that. Now, in terms of preparation for this, you need to understand where what is in your textbook. So sorry for the noise in the background. I'm at home at the moment. You need to understand where what is in your textbook. The easiest way I find to do that is to print out the slides. Yes, it's going to cost you a couple of rand to print them out. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than repeating the subject. So print out all my slides and orientate yourself on the slides. Figure out where what is in the slides. So if somebody talks about networking and the different types of networking, you know that is in the last chapter, and that is in that stack of slides, that last chapter stack of slides. Then you go to that stack of slides, you find the types of networking, and on that page where types of networking is, you've written the page number in your textbook, right? That is if you need to look it up, because you shouldn't need to look it up. You should be studying for an open book exam. Yes, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if you look at and it's not one of the guys that are writing a SUP, but if you look at how people did in the original exam, I've got people there that wrote a total of 30 marks in 2 hours. If you get full marks for that, that might get you into a SUP. And you're never going to get full marks easily for question. That was the total amount they could write in 2 hours. And I can promise you now, if I had a little camera watching you guys and I could pinpoint that person was paging through their book, looking for the answer, looking for the answer, hadn't prepared. So preparation for an open book is much more important than preparation is for a closed book. Closed book, you just study everything. Open book, you need to make sure you know where your stuff is, and you need to study so that you understand. When you see a question, you must sort of formulate an answer in your mind before you even go to your textbook. And in many cases, you're just going to write an answer. You don't have to go to the textbook. Okay, in the exam itself, time management is very important. In the first exam, they gave you a case study that I think was 2.5 pages long. That is extremely long. What I would do when they give you your reading time, I would not read the case study. I would read the questions, right? So read through all the questions slowly, carefully. There are a number of people that got 0 for questions. And the reason why they got 0 for question is because they answered the wrong question. That was not what they read the whole question and then figure out what they want to. I could see from the answers, a number of people simply read the first line and then wrote an answer. The first line was just to introduce the question. The question was in the second line, not. Okay? So make sure that you are prepared, and then you must make sure that you manage your time. You need to figure out. So there's going to be 10 more questions. If it looks like the previous one, there's going to be 10 mark and 15 mark questions. So what I would do, right? 10-mark question, write 10 minutes, move on. 15-mark question, you've got 15 minutes to write that answer, move on. That leaves you with 20 minutes at the end. Back and finish off questions. Leave gaps at the bottom of the pages. Start each question on a new page. If you write 3 books, write 3 books. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Also, part of time management is don't get stuck on a question you don't know the answer. Move on. You don't know the answer and you don't know where to find it. Was your preparation lacking? But you don't know where to find it. Move on. Do the next question, right? At the end, you come back and do that. If you want to answer question 5 and then question 7 and then question 1, do it. It's my problem to find out where the answers are for the questions. So manage your time. If you write at a mark a minute, you'll have enough time at the end to be able to go back and finish questions. Okay, now the actual writing part itself. So you know, with the writing, you need to apply. This is a practical open book exam. Go look what it says on the PAS document. It says practical open book exam. That means very little marks are given for theory. We give marks for theory, but we want to see you apply the theory to the case. So, and I'm not allowed to share the old exam paper or the previous exam paper. I can't do questions out of that, but I'll give you an example. So say, for example, they're talking about a question. They've given you a case study, and I'm going to make it very brief, but as I said, it's going to be 2.5 pages. Jack worked at the Spur as a waiter, and then he worked himself up as a shift manager, and then eventually became the manager of a Spur. He then decided he wants to open. He's an entrepreneur. He's always wanted to do this. He then decided to open his own restaurant. Okay. So Jack's got a little steakhouse, and they're going to give you all types of information about Jack's steakhouse, his history, and then how he opened the steakhouse and what's going on in the steakhouse, because they want to use that stuff to base questions on, because it's a practice. They ask you a question about Jack is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs have something called achievement orientation. Now, because you've prepared, you know achievement orientation, that's has to do, that's unit 7. So I've got my slide pack, unit 7. I go, there's Carl's slides. There he says the 8 things or whatever it is about achievement motivation. So now I can start writing. You shouldn't start writing. Achievement motivation is when an entrepreneur. No, that's not what they asked you. They're asking you those 8 things. So you can make a bullet. And the first bullet, for example, could be personally responsible for problems, or takes personal responsibility for problems, something like that. Can't remember the exact wording. You make a bullet. You say, personally takes responsibility for problems. You don't say, an entrepreneur has a skill as part of achievement orientation that they personally take responsibility for all problems. It's 1 mark. If you write personally takes responsibility for problems, that's a mark. That long sentence you write, and you can make that a paragraph. I'm still only giving you 1 mark for that, right? So write a bullet. Personally takes responsibilities for problem. Now comes the crucial part. Now comes the marks. Then you write. In Jack's case, if an order in the restaurant is taken wrong, he will not blame the waiter, but would rather go to the table and take the responsibility on himself, because that is how you personally take responsibility for problems. Boom, that's a point. That's a mark, 2 marks, whatever the memo tells me. Another one of those are, for example, set own goals. Entrepreneurs are people that they like to determine what they want to achieve, how they want to achieve it, and therefore we say they like to set their own goals. Now you could say all of that, or you can simply say bullet point, set own goals. Right? So you just write dash, set own goals, semicolon. Jack left the Spur and decided to open his own restaurant. And this indicates that he wanted to achieve his own things and not achieve the Spur's goals, but rather those goals that he set himself. Marks, I'm just ticking away. I'm making right marks there. I'm on my way to 10 out of 10 for the question. So that's how you need to apply it. If they ask you a question about location of the business, right? They're going to have said something in the the case study about the location of where he's opened a restaurant in a busy shopping center. But that's not the only location factor. You've got a 10-mark question or 15-mark question. There are 8 location factors. One of them is close to labor, right? So you say close to labor, you say Jack is in a busy shopping center. We can assume this is on public transport routes. This is essential for Jack because Jack will have a lot of kitchen staff and a lot of waitering staff, and it's essential for them to be able to get there. Seasonality or something to do with the seasons is another one. And you'll say Jack will have to ensure that because more people will eat out over Christmas time, that season will be a busy season for him. So that'll have an influence on how many things he needs to order, especially if he is in a holiday town. So it depends. If they say he's in Hermanus, in a busy shopping center in Hermanus, then you're going to throw it that way. If he's somewhere in Joburg, then you're going to say, well, even in Joburg in December, lots more people want to go. So his business will peak over those periods, or school holidays, for example. So whatever things you have as the theory, don't explain the theory. Take the theory, apply it to the case. It's a practical exam. And that is what practical means. I did explain this in class, but there were only about 15 of you there the day I did that. So yes, so please make sure that whatever you do in terms of the writing, that you actually apply it. And please, guys, prepare. Okay, guys, good luck for the upcoming supplementary. Check the exams, the marks are out, so you'll know whether you've got the supplementary. Make sure you're there on time, and think and write. There's my email address. You'll see there's been a small change. I'm not at Varsity College anymore. I'm at Emirates. .co.za. Thanks, guys, and once again, thanks for the year. I really enjoyed working with you guys. I probably won't be seeing you next year. I might see you in your third year. But yeah, and good luck. Cheers, guys.